Radhe Radhe friends. Welcome to my channel, Decode Life with Jay. Hello friends. Welcome back to our spiritual journey through the Bhagavad Gita. Today, we begin chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's despair. This is where the great dialogue truly begins. The Bhagavad Gita is an excerpt from the Bhishma Parva of the Mahabharata. The great battle of the Mahabharata is about to take place between the Kauravas and the Pandavas at Kurukshetra. The Gita begins with a dialogue between King Dhritarashtra and his charioteer cum advisor Sanjay. Dhritarashtra was the father of the Kauravas and the blind king of Hastinapur. Due to his extreme love and partiality towards his son Duryodhan, he could not stop the war. He could not see the battlefield himself, so he had to depend on Sanjay to hear the scene of Kurukshetra. Sanjay, who was Dhritarashtra's minister and charioteer. He was blessed with divine sight by Maharshi Vyas. With this boon, Sanjay could see and hear the entire scene of the battle of Kurukshetra even from a distance. What we read in the Gita is a live glimpse of the battlefield narrated by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra. Atha Prathmodhaya means the first chapter. Dhritarashtra spoke. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetra samavit yuyutsava. Mamak pavchava kim kurvata Sanjay. Dhritarashtra spoke. O Sanjay! What did my and Pandu's sons, who were eager for war, do when they were gathered at the holy land of Kurukshetra? This first line of Dhritarashtra is the beginning of the Mahabharata war and the Gita. It is not just a question but reflects the dual state of the human heart, where attachment, prejudice and the test of dharma are present simultaneously. Sanjay spoke. Drishtva tu pandavanikam vyudham duryodhnastada. Acharyamupasangemya raja vachnimabravit. Sanjay spoke. At that time King Duryodhan saw the Pandav army in battle formation and went to Dronacharya and said these words. This shlok not only describes the war, but also highlights Duryodhan's mindset. Fear, strategy, and dependence on the Guru. It reminds us that more than external strength, it is the stability of the inner mind that brings victory in any war. Pashatam Panduputranamacharya Mahatim Chamum. Vyudham Drupdaputrena Tavashi Shena Dhinta. Meaning, O teacher, look at this huge army of the sons of Pandu, lined up in battle formation by your intelligent disciple, Dhrishtadyumna, son of Drupad. This line by Duryodhan is not just a call for war but a subtle mental strategy. It reminds us that relationships and knowledge have real value only when they are used for the sake of dharma and not just for personal animosity. Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjun Sama Yuddhi. Yuyudhano Virtascha Drupdascha Mahartha. Dhrishtaketushchekitana Kashirajascha Viryavan. Purujit Kuntibhojascha Shabyascha Narpungava. Yuddhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamajascha Viryavan. Saubhadro Draupadyascha Sarv Eva Mahartha. That is, great archers in this army and in battle Satyaki, the knight like Bhima and Arjuna, and Virat and the great warriors King Drupad, Dhrishtaketu and Chekitan and the mighty Kasiraja, Purujit, Kuntibhoja and the best of men Shavya, mighty Yudhamanyu and the mighty Uttamaja, son of Subhadra, the 5 sons of Abhimanyu and Draupadi, all these. They are great warriors. These verses describe the great warriors of the Pandav army and show that the Mahabharata was not just a Pandav-Kaurav war but a massive battle involving many powerful kingdoms and heroes. Asmakam tu vishisht ye tannibodha dvijottama. Naika mamah sainyasya sanjanartham tambarvimite. Meaning, O best of Brahmins, you should understand the leaders on your side. For your information, I am telling you about the commanders of my army. Duryodhan respectfully addresses his teacher Krishna and says, O Acharya, Now you know the names of the main warriors of our army. This shlok teaches us the importance of self-evaluation and leadership in any conflict. Bhavan bhismascha karnascha kripascha samitinjaya. Ashwathama vikarnascha somdati sthaivacha. That is, you, Dronacharya and grandfathers Bhishma and Karna, and the victorious Kripacharya and likewise Ashwathama, Bhurisrava, son of Vikarna and Somdatta. Duryodhan says, O Acharya, you yourself, grandfather Bhishma, Karna, the victorious warrior Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna and Bhurisrava are on our side. This shlok tells us that respecting and correctly evaluating the key strengths of your team is the basis for success in any conflict. Anyecha bahava shura madarthe tyakta jivita. Nanshastra praharna sarve yuddha vishada. Meaning, there are many more brave warriors who have given up hope of life for me, equipped with various kinds of weapons, and all of them are skilled in war. Duryodhan says, O teacher, we have not only the chief warriors, but also many such brave men who have given up the hope of life for me. All of them are proficient in the art of war and are equipped with various weapons. This shlok teaches us that in any conflict, the real strength is not just the big names, but the devotion of countless dedicated warriors. Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam. Paryaptam tvidamitesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. Meaning, our army protected by Bhishma Pitamah is invincible in every way, and this army of these people protected by Bhimdhara is easy to defeat. Duryodhan says, our army protected by Bhishma Pitamah is boundless and invincible, while it is possible to defeat the army of the Pandavas protected by Bhima. This shlok teaches us that leadership and morale play a crucial role in a war or any struggle of life, but overconfidence can sometimes hide the correct assessment of the actual situation. Aineshu cha sarveshu yat bhagam vasthita. Bhishmemav bhirakshantu bhavanta sarv evahi. Meaning, therefore, while staying at your respective places on all fronts, all of you should undoubtedly protect Bhishma Pitamah from all sides. Duryodhan's message is, O warriors, all of you remain firm on your positions and protect only grandfather Bhishma from all directions. This shlok teaches us that securing the main base is the key to success in any conflict or project. Tasya sanj nayan harsham kuruvridh pitamha. Simhanadam vindyochai shankham dadhmo pratapavan. That is, the oldest and most glorious grandfather of the Kauravas, Bhishma, gave him that with a loud voice, causing joy in Duryodhan's heart. He roared like a lion and blew his trumpet. Bhishma Pitamah inspired the Kauravas by blowing his conch with a loud sound like the roar of a lion and sounded the trumpet to start the war. This shlok teaches us that a decisive call from the leadership can inspire the entire team and set the direction of the action. Tatah shankhascha bhairyascha panvanka gomukha. Seheshevbhaya hanyanta sa shabdastu mulo bhavate. Meaning, after this, the conches and the cymbals and the drums, mridang and narsimha etc. started playing simultaneously. Their sound was very terrifying. After Bhishma blew his conch, the conches, kettledrums, drums, mridang and narsimha of the entire Kaurav army resounded together, and the entire Kurukshetra trembled with the dreadful sound of the warning of war. This shlok teaches us that collective enthusiasm and organized efforts make any beginning huge and impressive. Tatah shreter hayaryukte mahti syandane sthito. Madhva pandavashchava divyo shankho pradadmatu. Meaning, after this, Shri Krishna Maharaja and Arjun, sitting in a wonderful chariot drawn by white horses, also blew the divine conch shells. Seated on a magnificent chariot drawn by white horses, Lord Krishna and Arjun blew the divine conch shells to announce that their war was for the protection of dharma and justice. This moment marks the official start of the Mahabharat war and the unwavering resolve of the Pandavas. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devdattam Dhananjaya. Pondram Dadhmo Mahashankham Bhimakarma Vrikodra. That is, Shri Krishna Maharaja named Panchajanya, Arjun Bhimsena, whose name was Devdatta and whose deeds were terrible. The great conch shell called Pondra was blown. Lord Krishna announced the war of Dharma by blowing the conch called Panchajanya, Arjuna by blowing the conch called Devdatta and Bhima by blowing the conch called Pondra. This shlok tells us that those who fight for Dharma have not only external power but also their own special qualities and divine powers, which make them victorious. Anantavijam Raja Kuntiputro Yudhishthira. Nakula Sahadevascha Sugoshmani Pushpaka. That is, King Yudhishthira, son of Kunti, named Anantavijay, and Nakul and Sahadev named Sughosh and Manipushpak blow the conch. Dharmaraja Yudhishthir blew the Ananta Vijay conch, and Nakul Sahadev blew the Sughosh and Manipushpak conches respectively to announce their readiness for war and their firm resolve towards dharma. This shlok teaches us that the victory of dharma is certain and the role of every capable member is important in it. Kashyascha Parmeshvasa Shikhandicha Mahartha. Dhrushtadhyumro Virat Shatscha Satyakishcha Parajita. Drupdo Draupadyascha Sarvasha Prithivipte. Saubhadrascha Mahabah Shankhan Dadhmuh Pruthak Pruthak. That is, Kashiraja with the best bow and Maharthi Shikhandi and Dhrishtadyumna and King Virat and the invincible Satyaki, the 5 sons of King Drupad and Draupadi and the big-armed Abhimanyu, son of Subhadra, all these, O king. All of them blow different conches on the side. The king of Kashi, Shikhandi, Dhrishtadyumna, Virat, Satyaki, King Drupad, the 5 sons of Draupadi and the valiant Abhimanyu. All of them announced the war of dharma by blowing their conches from different directions. This shlok teaches that when diverse talents step together for a great cause, their collective resolve becomes invincible. Sa ghosho dhartarashtranam hridyani vyadrayat. Nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulo vyanundayan. That is, and that terrible word to heaven and earth also echoing of the Dhritarashtra, that is, of your supporters. They tore my heart. The sound of the Pandavas' conches shook the heavens and the earth, and the Kauravas' hearts were pierced with fear. This shlok tells us that the collective power of dharma is so strong that it can shake adharma from within. Atha vyavasthitan drashtvdhartarashtran kapidhvajay. Pravrittesh strasampate dhanurudyame pandava. Hrishikesham tada vakyamidamah mahipte. Arjun spoke. Senyorubhayor madhye ratham sthapaya michuta. Meaning, O king. After this, Arjuna, the flag-bearer of the monkey, seeing the relatives of Dhritarashtra standing in formation, raised his bow while preparing to shoot the weapon and said these words to Rishikesh Shri Krishna Maharaja, O Achyut. Stand my chariot in the middle of both the armies. Before the start of Dharmayuddha, Arjun asked Lord Krishna to move his chariot between the 2 armies so that he could see the warriors he had to fight against. This moment sets the stage for the deep conflict within Arjun and the teachings of the Gita. Yavadeta nirikshyam yoddukaman vasthitan. Karmai sa yoddhavyamasmin ransamudyame. Meaning, keep him standing till I can clearly see all the opposing warriors standing in the battlefield and eager for war and decide with whom I am fit to fight in this business of war. Arjun asks Krishna to keep the chariot stationed between the 2 armies until he has carefully observed the Kaurav warriors who wish to fight and understands whom he will fight. This shlok symbolizes the dilemma in Arjun's mind and the clarity needed before the war. Yotsamanan veksheham ya yetetra samgata. Dhatarashtriya durbuddhar yuddhe prichikeshava. Meaning, I will see those kings who wish well for the evil-minded Duryodhan in the war and who have come in this army, these fighters. Arjun says, I want to see all those warriors who have gathered to fight and who are standing in the Kaurav army to serve the interests of the evil-minded Duryodhan. This shlok warns us that those who support wrong leadership and unrighteousness also become partners in the same injustice. Sanjay spoke. Evmukto hrishikesho gudakeshe bharat. Sen yorubhayor madhye sthapitva rathottamam. Bhishma dron pramukta sarvesham cha mahikshitam. Uvach parth pashetan samevtan kuruniti. Sanjay spoke. O Dhritarashtra! After Arjuna had said this, Maharaja Shri Krishna, standing his excellent chariot in the middle of both the armies, in front of Bhishma and Dronacharya and in front of all the kings, said, O Partha! Look at these Kaurav gathered for the war. Lord Krishna placed Arjun's chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona and said, O Parth! Look at these Kauravas gathered for the battle. This moment lays the foundation for Arjun's attachment and the teachings of the Gita, where the real test begins between emotional attachment and following dharma. Tatra pashyat sthitan partha pitrunatha pita mahan. Acharyan matulan bhratrun putran potra sakhinstatha. Shvashuran suhridaschava sen yorubhayorpi. Meaning, after this, Arjun, son of Pritha, saw his uncles, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, fathers-in-law and loved ones in both the armies. Arjun saw his fatherly elders, grandfathers, teachers, uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, father-in-law and well-wishers on the battlefield on both sides. This sight filled his heart with compassion and affection and later became the reason for the beginning of a deep dialogue, teaching of the Gita. Tan samiksya sa kaunteya sarvan bandhun vasthitan. Kripya paryavishto vishidannidam bravit. That is, seeing all the brothers present, he was the son of Kunti Arjun, being very compassionate, lamenting this spoke the word. When Kuntiputra Arjun saw all his loved ones on the battlefield, he was filled with deep compassion and grief and spoke further with a weak mind. This is the turning point from where Arjuna's internal conflict begins, and the stage is set for the immortal teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjun spoke. Drashtivma svajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam. Shidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushati. Vipthuscha sharire me romharshacha jayate. Arjun said, O Krishna! Seeing this crowd of relatives standing in the battlefield eager for war, my limbs are getting weak, my mouth is getting dry and my body is trembling and thrilling. Arjun says, O Krishna! My body is getting weak, my mouth is getting dry seeing my own dear ones getting ready for the battle. This verse depicts Arjuna's deep mental conflict and compassion, and forms the basis for the beginning of the Gita-updesh that follows. Gandivam saramaste hastatva chava paridahete. Na cha shaknomyavasthatam bhramtiv chame manaya. Meaning, the Gandiva bow is falling from my hands, my skin is burning badly and my mind is getting confused, therefore, I am not even able to stand. Arjun says, my body is trembling and throbbing, Gandiva is falling from my hand, my skin is burning, I am unable to stand and my mind is confused. This verse shows how deep mental conflict destabilizes both the body and the mind, and this is the moment when the divine teaching of Lord Krishna becomes extremely necessary. Nimittani cha pashyami vipritani keshav. Na cha shreyo nupashyami hatva swajan mahave. Meaning, O Keshav! I also see the opposite symptoms, and after killing my own people in the war doesn't even look at welfare. Arjun says, O Krishna! All the signs seem to be contrary to me. I do not see any good result in killing my own relatives in the war. This verse shows that Arjun's mind is surrounded by delusion, compassion and doubt about dharma, and this forms the starting point of Sri Krishna's profound teachings later on. Nakankshe vijam Krishna nacha rajyam sukhanicha. Kim no rajyen Govind kim bhogair jivitenava. Meaning, O Krishna, I neither want victory nor kingdom and pleasures. O Govind, what use do we have of such kingdom, or what is the benefit of such pleasures and life? Arjun says, O Krishna, I want neither victory, nor kingdom, nor pleasure. O Govinda, there is no benefit in the kingdom, pleasures and life obtained by killing our relatives. This verse shows the deep compassion in Arjun's heart and detachment from material things, and highlights the message of the Gita that true happiness lies only in dharma and spiritual peace. Yeshamarthe kankshitam no rajyam bhoga sukhanicha. Ta imevasthita yuddhe pranasthyaktav dhananicha. Meaning, those who desire kingdom, enjoyment and happiness are the ones who have given up all hope of wealth and life and are standing in the war. Arjun says, the very loved ones for whom we desire kingdom, enjoyment and happiness are standing ready to sacrifice their lives and wealth in the war today. This verse teaches that true happiness is only found with relationships and morality. If they are not there, any success becomes meaningless. Acharya pitra putrastathav cha pitamha. Matula shala potra shala sambandhi nastatha. That is, teachers, uncles, paternal uncles, sons and similarly grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law and other relatives. Arjun sees that his guru, uncles, cousins, grandfather, maternal uncle, father-in-law, grandson, brother-in-law and other relatives are standing in the battle. This shlok tells us that when our own people become rivals, any battle becomes not just an external but also a deep spiritual test. Etana hantu michhami dhantopi madhusudan. Api trailokya rajyasya heto kimnu mahikrite. Meaning, O Madhusudan, even if I am killed or even for the kingdom of the three worlds, I do not want to kill all of them, then what to say about the earth? Arjun says, O Krishna, I do not want to kill my own relatives even if I get the kingdom of the three worlds, the kingdom of the earth is out of the question. This shlok teaches us that the real victory lies in safeguarding human compassion and relationships, not in external power. Nihatya dhartarashtraha ka priti syaj janardan. Pap mevashred shmanhatvatna tatayana. Meaning, O Janardan, what pleasure will we get by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? By killing these tyrants, we will only incur sin. Arjun says, O Krishna, we will not feel any happiness by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra, rather, we will feel guilty even if we kill these tyrants. This verse teaches that even in committing violence in the name of justice, the soul has to face a dilemma, and the decision of right and wrong is made not only by external rules but by deep self-consciousness. Tasman narha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandavan. Swajanam hiktham hatva sukhina shyam madhav. Meaning, so O Madhav, of his own brother Dhritarashtra, we are not qualified to kill our sons, because how can we be happy by killing our own family? Arjun says, O Krishna, it is not right for us to kill our own relatives. How can we be happy by killing them? This shlok teaches that true happiness is only in love and relationships. Destroying one's own people for ambition or power can never satisfy the soul. Yadyapete na pashanti lobho phata chetase. Kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradrohecha patkam. Katham na neyam shmabhi papad shmanivartitam. Kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyad bhir janardana. Meaning, although these people, corrupted by greed, do not see the fault that arises from the destruction of the family and the sin in opposing friends, yet, O Janardhan, why should we, who know the fault that arises from the destruction of the family, not think about getting away from this sin? Arjun says, O Krishna, the Kauravas, blinded by greed, do not see the sin of destroying their clan and betraying their friends, but we, who know its consequences, should stay away from this sin. This shlok teaches us that without being influenced by the mistakes of others, we should act according to our conscience and dharma. Kulakshaye pranati kuldharmah sanatnaha. Dharme nashte kulam kritsnam dharmo bhi bhavatyut. Meaning, when a dynasty gets destroyed, the eternal dynasty dharma gets destroyed. When the dynasty gets destroyed, sin also spreads widely in the entire dynasty. Arjun says, when a clan is destroyed, its eternal dharma is destroyed, and when dharma is destroyed, the entire dynasty is filled with adharma. This shlok tells us that war or violence not only causes physical damage, but also causes cultural and moral damage that lasts for generations. Adharma bhibvat Krishna pradunshanti kulastriya. Strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varnasankare. Meaning, O Krishna, when sins increase, the women of the family become extremely impure and varshneya. When women become impure, a person of the same caste is born. Arjun says, O Krishna, when adharma increases, the women of the family become corrupt, and this leads to social and cultural disorder in the society. This shlok warns that moral degradation affects the family and the next generations first. Therefore, the protection of dharma and sanskars is essential in every age. Sankaro narkayev kulghananam kulshacha. Patanti pitro hesham laptapindo dakkriya. That is, Varnashankar to the murderers and the dynasty to hell. It is meant to be carried only. Vanished body and those who perform jalki rituals i.e. deprived of Shraddha and Tarpan. Their ancestors also suffer degradation. Arjun says, sexual mixing leads the killers of dynasty and their progeny to hell, and their ancestors also go to hell because the rituals of Shraddha and Tarpana are disrupted. This verse warns that violence motivated by personal greed deeply affects not only the present, but also the past and the future. Doshe rete kulghananam varnasankar karke. Utsadyante jate dharma kul dharmascha shashvata. Meaning, due to these varna mixing defects, the eternal family dharma and caste dharma of the dynasty get destroyed. Arjun says, due to the defects generated by hybridization, the eternal family and caste dharma of the family are destroyed. This shlok teaches that war, violence or uncontrolled greed can wipe out not just people, but also age-old cultural and religious traditions. Utsan kuldharmanam manushanam janardhan. Narke netam vaso bhavti tyanushusram. Meaning, O Janardhan, we have heard that those people whose family dharma has been destroyed reside in hell for an indefinite period of time. Arjun says, O Krishna, we have heard that those whose family tradition has been destroyed dwell in hell indefinitely. This verse warns that when society loses its moral and spiritual traditions, the result is long-term suffering and spiritual darkness. Aho batmehet papam kartum vyavasitah vayam. Yadraja sukhalo bhe hantum swajanmudyata. Meaning, in spite of being wise, we have committed a great sin. In the greed for kingdom and happiness, we have become ready to kill our own relatives. Arjuna says, in the greed for kingdom and pleasure, we have become ready to kill our own relatives. This is a great sin. This shlok is a deep reflection of the violence and self-reproach caused by greed, which even today warns us in moral decisions. Yadi mam pratikaram shastram shastrapanaya. Dhartarashtra rane hanyustan me kshimtara bhavet. Meaning, if the sons of Dhritarashtra, with the enemy in their hands, kill me in the battlefield, who is unarmed and unable to face them, then even that killing will be more beneficial for me. Arjun says, even if I am unarmed and die at the hands of the Kauravas, it will be more beneficial than committing the sin of fighting. This mental state forms the background for Sri Krishna's sermon in the next chapter, the actual beginning of the Gita. Sanjay spoke. Evamuktavarjuna sankhye rathopast upavishat. Visrujya sashram chapam shokasam vigna mansa. Meaning Arjun, whose mind was troubled with grief in the battlefield, saying thus, abandoned his bow and arrow and sat in the rear part of the chariot. Sanjay narrates, the grief-stricken Arjun gave up his bow and arrows and sat down in the chariot. This verse concludes the first chapter and sets the stage for the beginning of the second chapter of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. So friends, the chapter concludes with Arjun, completely despondent and tearful, declaring his refusal to fight and sitting down on the chariot seat, casting aside his bow and arrow. This scene of Arjun's internal crisis serves as the central problem that the rest of the Gita will address. It's a psychological and moral dilemma that anyone facing a difficult choice can relate to. Chapter 1 also shows us that acknowledging our doubts is the first step to real clarity. This chapter gave us an opportunity to understand Arjun's dilemma and his state of mind on the battlefield. In the next episode, Krishna begins to reveal the timeless wisdom that answers Arjuna's dilemma. In the next video, we will go deeper into the second chapter, where Sri Krishna gives the wonderful message of karma, spiritual knowledge and yoga. Don't miss it. If you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and Jai Shri Krishna.